Hut. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Well, happy leap year, I guess, because today is February 29th. I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't remember the last February 29th that we had. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. Welcome back to the I Am Bruce Leroy channel. Obviously, it's your boy Bruce Leroy. Before we get started with today's video, I need y'all to like, comment, subscribe, before I kick all y'all asses. Now, I'll y'all know I do already. Follow me on all my social medias, all platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. It's literally at I Am Bruce Leroy, alright? So, I know y'all missed you. I wonder, okay, why did you decide to take a break? It was a lot of shit in life I had to catch up with. I'm like, if I have time, I really didn't have time to film the content because I had to make sure, like, you know, shit outside of content had to get done. And I'm like, you know what? NFL season's over with. I know I took a break beforehand, but like, you know, the season's over with. We can just kick back, catch up on whatever we got to take care of life, and then we can always come back here and go get the content out, alright? So, we're going to do things a little bit differently. I didn't want to do another button video, so this one we're going to do. So, if you remember the guy that was like the Omalale concert, if I'm even saying his goddamn name correct. You remember what Shawty did, right? It's out there, it went viral, this, that, and the third, right? So, I want to try something different. It's not something I'm going to be doing on a regular basis, but I didn't have anything cool to react to, and I kind of like looked at it on short notes, but okay, this is something that, you know, we do relationships and the speed dating shit. That's kind of our niche outside of the normal Eagles content we do during the season. But here's the thing, real quick, I'm going to make this real, like a brief little 2-3 minute synopsis of what's been going on Eagles-wise, right? So, Haason Reddick's up for a trade. Obviously, I do not want Haason Reddick to go. But they had the combine presser with Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman, right? So Howie Roseman was talking about, you know, they asked about the Haason Reddick contract. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, just pay attention to the response he gave about Haason Reddick versus the response he gave about the Devontae Smith extension, right? So the response he gave for Haason Reddick is, you know, he get the same PR, like, you know, he's been great for us, which he has. He's literally our best defensive player we got on the team, like, no question about it. But when I listen to Howie Roseman's response about the Haason Reddick question, it's like the idea of a trade is not officially ruled out. I know some of y'all be like, y'all gotta relax, you're not getting traded, but you have to think about it like this, right? Haason Reddick, and it's according to, you know, the report out, according to reports, him and his agent won about $25 million a year. Do I think, if I'm Howard, would I give that to him? No. Do I think he's worth $20 million a year, especially because he took a discount for like, what, 2 seasons in a row? And he's like, he is a top 10 defensive player in this league, when healthy, when on the football field. And he's the 18th highest paid defensive end. I don't even think he's making double-digit millions a year. So he took a huge discount. So do I think he's worth over $20 million? Yes. And I hear Joey Chase go, well, he's over 30 years old. It doesn't matter. When you got a guy that's getting double-digit sacks, you have to pay him. Especially when he's literally your best defensive player that you have on a roster, you have to pay them, right? There's always ways, because here's the thing. Let's just say you decide to allocate those resources towards someone else. You don't know their track record. So there's risks, there's pros and cons to every situation. The pro is, okay, let's just say I'm against it, but I understand the opposite way of thinking. Let's just say, you know what? Haason Reddick playing out the final year of his deal, it's going to eat a lot of cap. And let's just say if we pay him the $25 million, he's over 30, so he's technically getting a little bit past his prime. No, actually, he's entering his prime right now. He's entering his prime, what you call it. So he's entering his prime. We're paying him $25 million a year. We're already paying a quarterback over, you know, you already got like about $50 million a year. Even though the cap isn't, you know, Jalen Hurts and Howie did a really good job of, you know, making the contract cap friendly so we can bring players in. But at the same time, say Haason Reddick's eating the cap, whatever, he's over 30, you know, and we want to ship him off, right? So let's just say if I'm for that, and also the fact that if you've been watching Haason Reddick, has Haason Reddick dropped back in coverage before? Yes. Has he caught interceptions before? Yes. But what these last 2 years have shown me that Haason Reddick needs to be basically on a defensive line. He needs to be lined up on the edge In order for him to be an effective defensive player, he needs to be lined up on the edge, I would say like 95 to 97% of the game. He doesn't really need to be dropped back. I mean, you can drop back in coverage, I say like maybe 3 to 5 times a game, but really, you want to sign Reddick pretty much damn near the whole game to be on the defensive, to be on the edge, rushing the passer. That's where he excels at. If you're making him do anything else, you know, I don't know what it is. Maybe he just, you know, some players excel at that one particular thing. And listen, it's better you excel at one thing than excel at shit. You know what I'm saying? So he excels at that one thing, rushing the passer. But Vic Fangio, he's going to want guys to play off the ball. You know what I'm saying? Is Hassan Reddick going to fit that? No. That criteria? No. You know, in order to use Hassan Reddick, in order for Hassan Reddick to be truly effective, he's going to have to rush the passer 95 to 97% of the game. Having him back in coverage, it's just not going to work. I would say 3 to 5 times you can maybe drop him back, but that's it. In order for you to get the most out of Hassan Reddick, you have to have him on the edge, rushing the passer. We know this, right? And we've seen what happens when you don't do it. He's basic, like it's almost like he kind of he's not good at that. It's just that's just not what he's good at, right? Can he do it? I guess, but you know, the Jonathan Gannon initiative has shown that you don't. If you have a Hassan Reddick on your team, you pretty much don't drop him back in coverage, little to basically at all, right? Let's just say if I'm for that, all right. So you don't really fit the Fangio scheme. He don't fit the Fangio scheme because he has to play off-ball linebacker. Cool. So the money you're going to give now to a free agent, even though there's some great free agents out there like Patrick Queen, but it's going to be a bidding war because a lot of people are going to want Patrick Queen. And I wouldn't even put it past the Ravens to re-sign him. Okay, I wouldn't put it past him. But let's just say if he goes, Patrick Queen is going to be one of the highest paid defensive players in this, when it's off, wherever he goes. I hopefully come to Philly. I don't think it's going to happen though because he's going to get banked. And if I'm Patrick Queen, I'm like, shit, I'm going to go to a team that's going to over fucking pay me. Ideally, it's a situation because there's a void there. Ideally, the correct situation would be go to Philadelphia because I feel like that, you know, there's a void for linebacker. And, you know, there's some great leaders on our team, and he can really benefit from a lot of the young talent that we have. However, and he only brings veteran presence. He's a surefire, he's a surefire talent if you're utilizing him correctly. On the flip side of it, though, you know, you're going to have to pay him a lot of money. A lot of money. And I don't know how he rolls, but he's not going to do that. So I'm thinking, you know, somebody else is going to pick him up. At some point in time, you're going to have to say, well, instead of just using that money and say, let me go get some mid-tier guys, you're going to have to pay somebody. You're going to have to pay somebody that's legit, right? And well, you didn't want to pay Chauncey Gardner-Johnson over $10 million, whatever the case may be. You know, we didn't know what the Jalen Hurts contract situation was, but he was worth at least $10 million. I would have given him 3 years, $30 million, or at least 3 years for $27 million, straight up off the bat. And if he would have took that, then I would have been on him, but that's neither here nor there. But at some point in time, Howard's going to look at this roster and say, yo, we need a star. We need a guy that's going to come and make an immediate impact. And defensive end is really thin right now. Brandon Graham is a free agent. It's likely he's going to come back here for his final year. But again, okay, we don't have Derek Barnett. It wasn't like he was doing shit. We don't have Derek Barnett. So when you give Hassan Reddick away, you know, you basically, let's just say, okay, I'm going to draft a defensive end. I mean, you're basically going to put him in the same position as Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Those guys need to be coached. I think you need a defensive end. If I'm Philadelphia, I want a proven vet, not somebody who's like super old. Not like the Neil Hunter's a little bit too. Even though he played great, maybe not him. However, I want a guy that's maybe late 20s. I want a guy mid to late 20s. And it's going to make an immediate impact right away. That's why I want playing the edge. If I'm Philadelphia going this offseason, I would prefer a defensive edge rusher or a defensive end that's going to be about like mid to late 20s. Okay, that's my opinion because let's just say okay, I go draft a defensive end. I am not 100%. This is just my opinion. I'm not 100% confident Vic Fangio is going to be the long-term permanent answer to this defense. Because like I said before, and on my previous videos, the Dolphins got their asses whooped because of their scheme towards the latter end of the season. And teams were effectively moving down the field in their asses. The Dallas game was a clear, clear. Yes, they made the stops and they forced the field goals, but they were still moving down the field. Like the Dallas were actually competing with them. And give credit to Dak on that game. He damn near came back and almost, ended a narrative that like, yo, I can't beat good teams when the lights are the brightest, because that was America's game of the week, right? So he almost dispelled that argument until Jordan Love came around. Neither here nor there. It's a risk either way, right? It's a risk if you do the 20 million up because, okay, he's over 30, but he got double-digit sacks. It's not just a guy that's just, okay, he's productive, he gets 5 sacks. You know, this guy's the best defensive player on your team unanimously, and he actually has double-digit sacks. He's a top 10 defensive player in this league. And the flip side of it is, well, Hassan Reddick's going to be dropped back in coverage a lot. So I don't see how that's going to make much sense as far as his productivity is concerned. Like, we're going to be using him the wrong way, right? So that's not going to work. Dropping back in coverage is just not going to work. So, it's signs to every argument. I'm personally keeping him. But, I can see why they would move on from him because he doesn't fit the scheme. And I'm not opposed to giving him $20 million a year because not only is he got double-digit sacks, he's our best defensive player on the team, like I said before. So, the Cyber Reddick situation, based on the Howie presser, it's not as likely. It's a good chance. Do not be surprised if he does get traded. If he doesn't, great. If he does, though, don't rule it out 100%. Because based on how he was talking, it's not guaranteed he's coming back. The way he was talking about Devontae Smith, talking about like, those guys like him, you don't want to, you don't want them to walk out because he's a great person, he's a great player, and he's homegrown. Those are not guys you want to walk out your building. I'm paraphrasing the last part, but you get my point. That wasn't the same energy I got with Hassan, but you know what? He's great for us, but like we're exploring all our options. Doesn't sound like y'all trying to do the best y'all can to make him stay here. It just sounds like that you're open to everything. That's just my opinion about it. Okay, AJ Brown, I fucking hate Dan Cilio with a passion because him and Ryan Hollins have to be some of the worst fucking analysts I've ever seen in my entire life. Trash as fuck, like garbage. Okay, trash. Here's the thing though. I have to agree with him on this one bit. I don't like how he framed it. I don't like how he disrespected Terrell Owens. And I say Terrell Owens was perfect in Philadelphia. I wasn't a fan back in the day. I don't think I was a fan of football at all. My first team was the Bears. And I think, you know what? We can say I was a Bears fan back then, but I wasn't old enough. I was like, what, 5, 4, maybe 6? I wasn't old enough to process what the fuck was going on in football, right? But my first team I remember distinctly was the Chicago Bears. So I was too young to remember what happened with Donovan McNabb, the Eagles, and shit like that. And nor was I a fan of them back then. My first official team I was a fan of, for those that don't know, is once again the Chicago Bears. Going back to the example, T.O. wasn't perfect, but McNabb, McNabb just, from the stories I've been hearing about a lot of people, McNabb wasn't a people person. You know what I mean? Like, Carson Wentz, not a people. These are, they're good quarterbacks. Well, Carson was good for like 1 year. Let's just keep it real. He was good for 1 year. A year, and I guess he was decent the other year when we had no receivers except like fucking backups and reserves. So he was MVP. He was the best player in the league in 2016, 2017 when we won our Super Bowl. And the year after, was it a year after? I don't remember. But it was the year that we had, Greg Ward was our best fucking receiver on the roster. And he, unfortunately, Javion Clowney did some dirty shit. And that ended that. But, he really had one great season. That was it. Good season in the time we got beat by Seattle in the wild card. Moving on from that point. Those are guys are not people persons. Exactly. But, so I'm trying to go back. Why the hell did I mention? I mentioned it to what point? Yeah. So what I'm saying is to blame T.O. strictly. T.O. did what he did because, of course, I watched the Football Life documentary. He wanted out of Philadelphia. So he was like, back then, people were more strict. It was taboo to demand a trade. You know what I'm saying? It was taboo for that. So nowadays, as social media goes on, things of that nature, and player empowerment to an extent, of course, is a little bit more, it's a little bit more lenient. NFLPA has more powers now than it did back then. So with Terrell Owens, you know, he wasn't perfect. Could have handled the situation a little better. Hell of a player. He came back off of a very, I think Roy Williams did a horse collar tackle or some shit like that, and he fucked up his ankle, and he played his ass off for us. Amazing player, definitely a top 5 wide, not to the top 10, a top 5 wide receiver of all time. Okay? Great showman, whether or not you like celebrate, but great showman. But to sit up there and demonize Terrell Owens as if he was the bad guy, no. You know, again, he could have done some things differently. From me, you know, me observing the stories and hearing him tell his side of the story, he could do things differently. But I think Terrell Owens is a great guy. You know, I'm not saying I don't know him. He seemed like a solid guy, a solid dude, and he's a hell of a player. He's a top 5 wide receiver of all time. Okay, so it's not just all his fault. And he did what he did because he wanted out of Philadelphia, and McNabb is just not a people person. So him and McNabb just didn't get along because McNabb just he didn't have, from the stories I've heard, the way Jalen Hurts bring guys together. That's not McNabb. That was not Carson Wentz. That was the point I was trying to make. So you're demonizing him, you're calling him a diva, and then everybody keeps talking about him, you know, AJ Brown not wanting the ball. When he said it on multiple occasions that that's not what would be half his argument. Number one, every motherfucking receiver, especially one that's as elite as AJ Brown, because realistically speaking, him and AJ Brown, it's a foot race between who is the best wide receiver in the NFL, clear and cut dry. It's AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill. That's it. It's those two. So we're not talking about no score. We're talking about a top 1 or the best or the second best wide receiver in the NFL. Whatever you decide to choose, that's on y'all. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a difference maker. Clearly going to be the best wide receiver in franchise history. And we're talking about a leader. He got a C on his chest for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, and he's displayed those leadership characteristics over and over again, right? So, Celio said what he said in a disrespectful manner. But the premise of what he said about the WIPP, whatever the fuck that little old ass farce. I'm not going to disrespect Ike Reese because I don't necessarily have a problem with him. But I got a problem with the rest of these niggas. The rest of these niggas over there is clowns. I don't have a problem with Ike Reese specifically. So I want to exclude him from the conversation. Okay? I want to exclude Ike Reese. Everybody else, whatever with them. So going back to my point with the AJ Brown thing. Celio was correct. I'm going to agree with this asshole just one time. AJ Brown, I fuck with you. I genuinely, I'm a fan. Even if you wasn't an Eagle, I've been a fan of you since day one. Since Ole Miss, you got injured, people written you off. I was a fan of you since day one. Trust me, I was a fan. I fuck with you, and I respect you even more because I'm seeing what kind of person you are, despite, you know, all of the negative stigmas that surround your name, and people are upset about your personality. Maybe there might be some slight undertones of racism in it. You know, whatever the case may be, you stood strong in it all, and you showed exemplary leadership on and off the field. So I applaud you for that, AJ Brown, 100%. But this is what you need to do. It's what Cillian's right about. The media will not. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. Nigga, you can visit all the goddamn kids in the world. Like Santa, you can go to every goddamn hospital who has a Make-A-Wish kid and grant all their wishes, bro. You can sit up there, you know, and listen, you could solve world hunger, bro. These people will always have something negative to say about you. They'll be like, yo, you solved world hunger. Why the hell didn't you cure COVID? Why didn't you cure the common cold, right? Why didn't you go fix the gas prices? You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter what the fuck you do in this lifetime, these people will never like you. Ever. Will ever like you. So for AJ, I appreciated him checking, you know, these stupid ass media podcasts. I appreciate it, you know, because somebody needs to check their ass. But at the same time, you made your points earlier in the year when you refused to talk to reporters and you stepped in so that you can help your teammates don't have to speak on your behalf. And I thought that was the leadership. I thought it was also leadership when you apologized to them because they had to speak on your behalf. So that was cool. That was really cool to see. That should have been it after that. After that, don't worry about what the hell the media said. Let the media talk their shit, because that's what they're going to do. I'm telling you, AJ Brown, I don't know if you'll ever get this, whatever the case may be, stop responding. They don't fuck with you. It don't matter what you do, nigga. It don't matter if you pray to God and you could do miracles and cure the sick. They will never, ever like you because they never have. So stop trying to go out of your way to impress people or to, get people to, be on your side that don't fuck with you. They never fuck with you. If they had it your way, your ass, you would have been traded a long time ago. They would have did you like how Tennessee did you, okay? If they was like Howie Roseman or like any front office position in Philadelphia, they would have did you just like how Tennessee did you. So don't worry about that. The majority of the fans, especially one with the same brain, because I see some of y'all fans be saying some stupid ass shit, just this fucking. I respect opinions, but some opinions just don't need to be respected. Trading AJ Brown is definitely an opinion I do not fucking respect. That is just complete delusional ass behavior. That's just idiocracy at its best. AJ Brown, stop responding to the media. It's not going to help you go turn around the last 7 weeks of football. It's not going to help you go get a Super Bowl ring. It's not going to help you become a better player, person, or teammate, whatever the case may be. Stop responding to them. They don't like you. They never will like you. They will continue to make up rumors and lies and make stories and headlines. And I heard he was he majored in journalism. Bro, you got to know this. They don't fuck with you. They never will fuck with you. Stop responding to them for goodness sake. Don't go on no more podcasts talking about some y'all make up stories. They're going to continue to do this shit. They don't give a fuck. They do not care. Okay? So that's it. That's all I got to say. Been some rumors about Ladarius Sneed, but I'm sure there's going to be a bit of war with him. But I feel like that between him and Patrick Queen, my money is on Ladarius Sneed coming back. I heard James Bradbury is coming back. I don't think he should. I hope he gets Sneed so he can bump his ass to the bottom of the roster. You know what I'm saying? We need to extend him and cut him. But, at the end of the day, the Bradbury part scaring me. I mean, the man showed you he's not a starting cornerback. Maybe he might be good somewhere else. As far as Philadelphia is concerned, he's not a starting cornerback. He should not be. No. Hell no. Jalen Reagor showed you he was ass. Bradbury showing you he following that same path just as a DB. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get him off the roster. I'm sorry. And sometimes we're like, you know what? Like, Quez got redeemable qualities. I see the talent. And I understand why the transition happened the way it did. I understand the psychological aspect. Y'all see my videos. I don't need to keep talking about it. But y'all understand where I'm coming from, right? So the Sneed thing, he put an eagle emoji there. There's players like, I think, Milton Williams and Boston Scott that's trying to actively recruit him. Also, before we move on, how much time I got? Cool. Can't fucking talk. Anyway, before we move on, we'll talk about Reed Blankenship. Because Joey Shakes wins the comment section. I heard so much. Reed Blankenship not starting safety this league, this, that, and the third. Okay? I'm gonna tell you something right now. This is the truth. I know when a player's ass, and I know when there's external circumstances that's preventing him from getting to the next step. Case in point, Jalen Hurts. A lot of y'all talk about he asked. Did he regress? Yes. Did he do some shit that's like not typical of a third year, I want to say out of a third year quarterback? Yes. But there were external circumstances, i.e. Nick Sirianni, right? The coaching, the system was completely fucking trash. I don't have confidence in Kellen Moore, but I don't have any choice at this point in time, right? Moving forward with that. Talk about Reed Blankenship, okay? You have to remember this. When everybody remembers, go back, rewind that goddamn, memory bank. Go all the way back to the Packers game of 2 years ago, our Super Bowl year, that we went to the Super Bowl and we lost against the Chiefs. Y'all know. The man didn't come in, he replaced Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He didn't pick off Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to be is a top 5 greatest quarterback to ever play this game. I know Aaron Rodgers was the overall down year, but he didn't pick off Aaron Rodgers not once. He picked off Aaron Rodgers twice. That's not a guy that should be on the bench. The problem with Blankenship is that his lack of athletic capability sometimes limit him as far as what he can do. He's a hard hitter. He can be a ball hawk. I've seen it on multiple occasions, both this past year and the year before. He has all the tools, but he's an undrafted free agent. So you're expectations like he was drafted in the first 3 or 4 rounds, because that's how this nigga plays. This nigga don't play like an undrafted free agent. He plays like a fucking 3rd or 4th. He plays like a 2nd, 3rd round player. He plays like a 3rd rounder. Okay, he doesn't play like no motherfucker. He plays when he's at his top. He plays like a second rounder. He plays between a second and third round play. That's the type of player he is. He don't play no motherfucking undrafted free agent. So your expectations for how the ceiling is right now as an undrafted free agent is unfair. Particularly if you don't have the coaches in place. Y'all remember I told y'all last preseason, like, I don't like how these I watched Kelly Ringo and some of these guys on how they move their feet and how their technique is. I'm like, this DB coach that's this brand new one, because I forgot the guy the last guy who left us. But they brought a new one, and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but he's not doing a good job with these guys on teaching them the fundamentals to take that. Then I said shit in the preseason, right? So going back to Reed Blankenship, he's not being built on the best of coaching. He's in a scheme that is not very effective, and he doesn't have a counterpart to him that can make up for his lack of athleticism. So he's not being coached correctly. Okay, as an undrafted free agent, there's a lot of room for improvement. He's exceeded expectations already. He's going to need, same way Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, in my opinion, having him on the team made him play better. You're going to need a guy that's going to push Reed Blankenship. You're going to need the proper coaches, but you're also going to need a guy. The good thing is we got the safety coach from 2021, so hopefully Blankenship will be back on his shit, because he kind of fell off just a little bit toward the latter half of the season. Going back to it though, Blankenship has to be coached. And he needs a more athletic counterpart, because Kevin Byard ain't going to be it. And I think cutting him is going to be like a $14 million cap, a cap save, whatever you want to call it, to avoid a cap casualty. Tongue twisters. But as for Reed Blankenship, as far as that's concerned, he's going to need better coaching. And he's going to need a guy who can really, really fucking play like a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Otherwise, he's not going to get to the potential that I think he's going to get to. Because I think he's more than capable of starting anywhere. Okay? That's all I got to say about the Eagles.